What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 17 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show. It's Jared, Ian, and Zach back again, ready to talk some Ohio sports with you guys. Sorry we were not available last week, but we are excited, ready to get into this week's episode. Ian, Zach, how are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Doing real well.
Awesome. You guys ready to talk some Ohio sports?
Let's do it.
Let's go. As some of you may know, if you watch our show, we usually start off with the best and worst of this past weekend. So, Ian, sir, what was your best and worst of this past weekend?
My best of the last week comes in the news of today, actually coming out of Cleveland. The Browns announcing that all signs point to releasing Johnny Manziel on March 9th. They're waiting until March 9th to release him because that's when the new year calendar starts over for the NFL. They'll have the cap space available to release them, and it won't be as big of a cap hit. The worst of my week is my Blue Devils down at Duke. They need to figure things out. They need to figure it out real quick. They're losers of 4 of their last 5, all against ACC opponents. They're really hurting with Emil Jefferson down. He was supposed to come back right before Christmas, and we're entering into February, down to the big games in our ACC schedule. So definitely hurting without him. Falling out of the top 25 for the first time in 8 years. Hopefully they can turn things down around at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Zach, what was your best and worst, sir?
Both my best and worst came out of the Pro Bowl this week. My best of the week was that Andrew Whitworth being voted in for the first time, second time overall. Got some playing time, got to enjoy the week down there. My worst of the week was Tyler Eifert injuring his ankle. Another off-season rehab.
Absolutely terrible. My best of the week, as some of you may know, I'm a Manchester City fan, diehard Manchester City soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, fan. My Manchester City Blues signed Pep Guardiola as their new manager. He will start next season. They signed him to a 3-year deal, and for those of you who don't know who Pep Guardiola is, he is the most coveted manager in world football. He is fantastic. He's been a coach for 8.5 years. He's got 19 major trophies. He's coached at Barcelona and also at FC Bayern Munich, where he's at now. Ecstatic to see him take over my Manchester City Blues. So I'm very, very happy about that. My second best of the weekend was, for those of you who were bored watching the Pro Bowl, the NHL All-Star Game was fantastic. They completely revamped it. They did a 3-on-3 tournament, $1 million prize on the line for the winning team. It was fantastic, absolutely great. 3-on-3 hockey is fantastic. But the best part about that whole story was left winger John Scott. Now, for those of you who don't know who John Scott is, he is terrible. He's been in the league. He's 33 years old. He has 11 career points, so it's pretty bad. He's been in the league for a while. He's kind of been a player that he's had some dirty hits. He's been a journeyman. He's been all over the NHL. The NHL set up a voting system for fans to elect someone into the All-Star Game. So the fans is kind of a FU to the NHL. Started voting for John Scott as a joke. It took off. He got elected into the NHL All-Star Game despite the NHL wanting him to be in. The NHL asked him to be traded. He was traded to Montreal and then sit down to the minor leagues in hopes that he wouldn't be able to make the All-Star Game. But the fans were outraged. So the NHL finally let him in. John Scott was fantastic in the All-Star Game, scored a goal right away. He had 2 goals in the All-Star Game. His team won the $1 million prize. He was voted the MVP of the All-Star Game. It was fantastic. It was great, absolute great story. So the NHL All-Star Game, kudos to that because it was dying and it was fantastic. My worst, on the other hand, was the Pro Bowl. Absolutely terrible. I was flipping back and forth. The Pro Bowl is boring. Players getting hurt, like Eifert. It's just terrible. I've said it all along. The Pro Bowl needs to be revamped. Whether they bring in kids guys who are vying for a spot, let them play. Let them showcase themselves. I think personally they should do it like MTV Rock and Jock Football. Just something fun like that on the beach, just having fun where guys aren't going to get really hurt. Luckily, the Bengals dodged a bullet with Tyler Eifert. It's only an ankle sprain, but absolutely terrible. Pro Bowl sucks. The NFL knows it, but we'll watch it because it's the NFL. But thank you guys for your best and worst. I know, real quick, let me shout this out. It's not really Ohio sports, but I grew up a diehard wrestling fan. I love the WWF. Zach, I know you did. Ian, I know you did as well. And pretty much Jeremy, one of our other writers, and Chris, our other writer, they grew up wrestling fans as well. Pretty impactful in our life. One of my favorite wrestlers growing up, Bret the Hitman Hart, announced yesterday that he is battling prostate cancer. Absolutely terrible. Bret Hart was fantastic. Ian, I know you're a huge fan of Bret Hart. So it hit you pretty home. I saw you shared it on Facebook. Terrible. Bret Hart, can't tell you how many people I put in a sharpshooter growing up. So I just want to let you know, man, from us, you're not going to see this, but we are sending thoughts and prayers out to your family. Hitman, you're a legend of the game, and thanks for the memories, and let me break my friends' backs with sharpshooters growing up. So thoughts and prayers out to Bret Hart and his family. Moving on, let's talk a little Cincinnati Bengals. Not much going on in the world of the Bengals right now. As Zach said, Andrew Whitworth made the Pro Bowl along with Tyler Eifert, Geno Atkins, A.J. Green, Carlos Dunlap, Adam Jones, and Cedric Pierman was elected in as well. Like I said, Eifert sprained his ankle. Terrible. Actually, I had a friend send me a picture who works for I have a friend who works for Kroger's downtown, and Eifert was there today in a walking boot and on crutches, and it sucked to see that. So, absolutely terrible. Zach, what were your thoughts on the Pro Bowl, man? I know you kind of alluded to it in your best and worst, but thoughts on the Pro Bowl, Bengals in the Pro Bowl?
I thought it was awesome that most of the Bengals, anyways, got on one team, and that team won pretty big. It's what I saw. I didn't watch the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl's boring in my opinion. If I had my way, they'd just do like a skills challenge thing. But it was awesome to see so many Bengals honored that way, recognized.
Yeah, I agree. Pro Bowl is terrible. There's really not much to say, and there's not much going on with the Bengals. One thing that is going to probably draw some news is I've heard a lot of people kind of dogging Eifert and kind of, and for those of you who don't know, Travis Kelce signed a huge deal. I think it's somewhere around $45 million, $20 million guaranteed. That's huge money for a tight end. Eifert, you got to think he's going to get paid as well. Gronk is going to get paid. Good Lord, Gronk hasn't been paid yet, but Eifert's probably going to get paid as well. And I've heard a lot of people kind of call him out and kind of call him soft, and we got to figure out if he can stay healthy. Bengals fans, this is kind of just freak stuff that's happening to him. He got hit with a low hit with a concussion. You can't say that he can't stay healthy because of a concussion. Every guy gets them in the NFL. The foot injury, it's stupid. The Pro Bowl's done. We dodged a bullet. Kid's a stud. He's a freak. He's proven that he's the X factor on our offense. So calm down. You better hope that Katie Blackburn can sign him to a long-term deal. Otherwise, he'll be one of the top tight ends in the NFL somewhere else. Ian, do you have any thoughts on this as a Browns fan? I know outsider looking in, though.
No, you just got to take it day by day and, quit criticizing your players, especially for a guy that does everything on the field correctly. He's an absolute monster. He's been one of Dalton's best targets. He was one of Dalton's best targets this season. Came back strong from that injury from last season, and I mean, like you said, if he ends up leaving town, he's going to go be one of the top 2, top 3 tight ends in the league somewhere else.
He's already a top 5 tight end in the league right now, and he's got a very, very short resume too in the NFL. Gronk, hands down, number 1. Kelsey's probably up there. I don't know if Kelsey's 2, but he's up there. I think I would take Eifert almost over anyone except for Gronk in the league. So I would take Eifert over Jimmy Graham, hands down. I would take him over Jimmy Graham. So
no question.
Yeah, Bengals fans, calm down. The kid's a stud. We're lucky to have him. He can stay healthy. I understand he's had some injuries, but it happens. It's a tough sport. So. And he's a tight end. He takes a lot of hits. They take really bad hits, tight ends do. So they got to be able to stay healthy, I understand. But he's a stud. We're lucky to have him. Hopefully the Bengals can sign him long term. But not much going on with the Bengals. However, there is a pretty good amount of news going on with the Browns, as always. Today, Sashi Brown, the vice president, released a statement basically saying that they're going to release Manziel, like Ian said in his best and worst of the weekend. Ian, as a Browns fan, I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit. How does this make you feel, man?
It's a relief. It's kind of addressing that 1,000-pound elephant that's in the room. You're cutting ties with somebody that's a distraction, and especially a team that's in a rebuild mode and a full-on rebuild that they've dedicated to with Hugh Jackson as the new head coach. you've got to cut ties with guys that aren't good for your team. He's toxic. It seemed like anytime the Browns were doing something right on the field, he was doing everything wrong off the field. And, you know, in a team sport, you can't be doing that stuff. If he played tennis, then okay, go live your life. Nobody else is banking on you. But in the NFL, you got a roster full of guys that are banking on you to upstand your character day in and day out, whether you're on the field or off the field, inside the facility or outside the facility. I think it's a good move. I hate it that it's came to this, but you know, you got to draw a line in the sand somewhere and say, you know, you're not going to take it anymore.
Absolutely. You know, we've talked. We've done this show 17 episodes now, so we've talked about the Browns. We've talked about Manziel most of the time. Zach, I know this is only your second show with us, and you may have watched those. Hopefully, you did. In the past videos. Now we've bounced back and forth with Manziel. You know, I said when stuff came out that the Browns needed to cut him. Then the next week he's signing $100 bills, making huge plays, and I'm saying, "Money Manziel, let's go." You know, we gotta run him. And stupid things keep happening with him. Like I said in the past, it's got to be hard for any coach to go up to a podium when you're trying to win games and all they want to talk about is your quarterback or backup quarterback getting in trouble each week. So, Zach, what are your thoughts on Manziel and the Browns?
I think obviously Johnny does not want to be there. Otherwise, this stuff wouldn't continue happening. He's trying to get out. I also think the biggest mistake, and I don't know if it was the Browns, and I don't know how bad Johnny's problem with alcohol was. I think whoever told him to go to rehab made the big mistake without realizing that now anytime that he's out with his friends, he may not be drinking, but he's going to be looked at in Cleveland. He's going to be hawked on. And there's all kinds of videos of where he's just hanging out with his friends. And it's just speculation about what he's doing, what's in his cup, stuff like that. I think whoever made that decision obviously wasn't Johnny's, or he wouldn't be doing this stuff right now. That's a big mistake.
That's the insane thing with Johnny is who are his friends? In this world of social media, everyone's so connected. Every time he goes out, there's a new video on TMZ of him getting trashed, and he's like in the camera with a drink in his hand. If it's true that he wants out of the Browns and he's doing these things to get released, he's a baby. He can't keep giving him his way. The Browns, the best thing that they could do, Hugh Jackson, like I said when you guys hired Hugh and were looking for Hugh, or was rumors you guys were thinking about signing Hugh. I said it from day one. His first thing he should have went in there and said, "Johnny, I'm sorry, man, you're not right for this team. We got to let you go. He is too big of a cancer for that team, especially when you got a guy like Josh Gordon coming back. Could you imagine those two out together? Josh Gordon's going to need all the help he can get. And second thing he needs to do is sit down with Josh Gordon and say, look, do you see how bad we were last year? You can change that. You are the one guy on our team that can change that. You can make everyone else around you better. You are a top 10 wide receiver in the league. You are a freak. You have God-given ability like no other. We need you on this team. You have to cut out this negativity in your life." And I know he's been tweeting, saying that he's cutting ties with stuff, and that's hard for those guys to do because they're in a world where nobody tells them no. Nobody tells athletes no. No, you can't do that. No, they don't do that. They treat them like divas and little kids. And like I've told you, you got to take the game away from them. So hopefully Josh has learned it. Someone needs to take the game away from Johnny as well, in my opinion. I mean, what do you think about that, E?
No, I agree with you. I would like to say that, I believe everything that Josh Gordon is tweeting. I believe that he's going to come back without the distractions and without being a distraction. We took the game away from him. The NFL took the game away from him. And there's a chance he might not be reinstated. Hopefully the same thing happens with Johnny. We joked about it saying Dallas would be a perfect place for him because Dallas has been known for having players like this with these types of problems, and they flourish down there. But, like we said in several episodes back, you got to improve the man before you can improve the player. And the only way you do that is take something away that he covets. And, I'd like to think that Johnny covets the game of football. He covets his career. I would hate to see something happen to him. I wish him all the best of luck moving forward. I hope he figures this thing out, and I hope he goes and stars for another NFL team, and I hope he does well. But, you got to improve yourself as a person before you can improve yourself as a professional.
Exactly. And everyone keeps bringing up the Cowboys with Manziel. Now, if I'm the Cowboys, there's another quarterback that's going to be a free agent that's out there that I'd much rather have as my backup, RG3. I'd much rather have RG3. Even though RG3 has been knocked for he can't stay healthy, you don't see him in the media ever. You don't ever hear about RG3. So say what you want about him. He's the perfect guy to sit behind Romo, and, hey, when we need you, be ready. You're never going to hear negativity about him. They're going to have to pay him some money, but you got to think RG3, when he came into the league, his rookie year, he was a beast. A beast. I would much rather have RG3 from Baylor, Texas roots. I'd much rather have RG3 on my sideline than Johnny Manziel, personally. Zach, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think RG3 brings just as much athleticism and skill to the table as Johnny Manziel does, and the trouble factor. Dallas is a big city, and he's going to be in the spotlight. If Johnny went there, he'd be in the spotlight even more than he is in Cleveland, just because that's where everybody's speculating him to go.
Plus,
I'd much rather have RG3.
Johnny's got nothing but friends down in Dallas. He's connected to more people in Dallas. Why would you want him around that? He's insane. Johnny Manziel from the get-go was a bad idea with the Browns. He was the only quarterback I can ever remember that was drinking a beer on draft day waiting to be drafted. It's insane. That's absolutely insane. If you sit and think about all the things he's done, it's insanity. You never hear about other quarterbacks. McCown was great for the Browns this year. McCown was great. And I don't know if they're going to draft a quarterback. We'll get into that at another time. That's a completely different argument. But McCown was great. And to be constantly in the same sentence and same breath of air as Johnny Manziel is bad for McCown and that franchise. The best thing the Browns can do is cut ties with him. That's as a Bengals fan. I look at you guys, and I've said, we've been friends for a long time, and I've told you all along, the Browns are so freaking close, and they just take one step forward and two steps back all the time. Hugh Jackson's going to turn you guys around. Like I wrote about, I've said it over and over. He's going to be great for you guys. He's going to be a coach, a no-nonsense players coach. So step one, get rid of Johnny, which they're doing. That's great for you guys. Applaud the Browns and Hugh and his staff for doing that. And then step two, get Josh Gordon back on your roster and get going, man, because get ready for the draft. Josh Gordon's is an absolute freak playmaker, so he's a huge X factor for you guys, and you guys definitely missed him this past year. But yeah, that's really it on the Browns front right now. Hopefully, for your sake, and all of those other Browns fans out there, you guys, the Browns can continue to strengthen and better their franchise. I think Hugh will be the guy that does that for you guys, though. Next up, not much going on in college football, obviously. We're in the dead period. But the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry just keeps going up. It's insane. Harbaugh coming to Michigan. Harbaugh is a nutcase, by the way. He's absolutely insane. Urban Meyer right now, currently signing day is tomorrow. Urban currently has the number one class, I do believe. Could change, obviously, but as of right now, he currently has the number one class. Jim Harbaugh, I don't know if you guys have seen, he's having Derek Jeter, who's a Michigan guy, he's having Jeter and the Players Tribune are going to live broadcast the signing day from Michigan. They're going to have all kinds of celebrities there. This is fresh off the heels of Harbaugh going and sleeping over and doing Netflix and chill with recruits, which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. The guy's an absolute nutcase. It's good for the rivalry, though. Zach, what do you think?
Harbaugh's keeping the Michigan name in the news, and that's always a good thing, in my opinion, especially around this time of year. Just keeping Michigan fresh on recruits' mind. Ultimately, I think Ohio State and Urban Meyer, they went out as usual. Urban's mixes a little old school with a little new school cool. I think he's going to win out every time.
Absolutely. Ian, what about you, man?
Like you brought up with the rivalry, something that's been missing from this Ohio State-Michigan rivalry for a long time has been the rivalry between the coaches. You had all those years with Carr and I'm drawing a blank.
Carr and
Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper can never get the job done, though. That's the only
Yeah.
knock. Anyways, continue.
But you had the rivalry there, Schembechler and Woody. That's what built such a strong rivalry was just the intensity between the two coaches. And then, don't get me wrong, Tressel, he gave us some great years at Ohio State. But I mean, it was just blah, especially when it came against the coaches. And Brady Hoke at Michigan. I mean, he had a few punchlines every once in a while here and there, jokes and stuff. But I mean, he wasn't anything to write home about when it came to creating a coaching rivalry. And now you've got Ohio State, who is on the map and is not going anywhere, and you've got Michigan trending upwards, especially with Harbaugh at the helm of head coach. And you're creating that great coaching rivalry too with Meyer and Harbaugh. It's a really good time right now for this Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. I still like Ohio State moving forward, like Zach said, take them every time. But that rivalry is getting more intense by the minute, especially with this recruiting war. So I think it's great for college football. I think it's great for the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry.
It's fantastic. I completely agree with you guys. The Big Ten needed this bad. They need Michigan to be relevant. Ohio State needs Michigan to be relevant because when it gets down to it, that's the game that decides it. A lot of the times, Ohio State still wasn't out of the talks for the Final Four this year. So with the college football playoffs, so the rivalry needs to be relevant. It is at the moment, kind of, I guess. I mean, like you were talking about Tressel. The problem with Tressel's era, he dominated Michigan because Michigan was a revolving door. I mean, they had Rich Rod, they had Brady Hoke. They had, I mean, nobodies were leaving that school. They couldn't get anyone in there. And Tressel just dominated them. I know Urban's dominated them while he's been there, but it's, let Harbaugh get his guys in there and stuff. I'm not going to say I'll take Ohio State 100% of the time over them, but the rivalry needs to be relevant. There needs to be that hatred between the teams. That's what makes sports great, and that's one of the best rivalry in not only college football but all sports. Like he was talking about, the Woody and Bo era. That's great. There's so many great quotes from that. My favorite, personally, is Woody when Woody was driving back from Michigan on the team bus. The team bus started to run out of gas, and the bus driver asked him if he could pull over. They were still in Michigan to get some gas. And Woody said, "No, we'll drive this thing to the Ohio State line. I'll push this motherfucker over the line. I will not give this state a dime of my money." So that is the best line. I love Woody. Love that rivalry. Woody and Bo was great. So hopefully Harbaugh and Urban can be that kind of rivalry, but with Ohio State just kicking their ass all the time. That would be great. Not much going on with that, though. So hopefully we'll have more to talk about after signing day tomorrow. So hopefully the Buckeyes can end with the #1 class because they're going to have to reload. 9 guys going pro, 9 very good players. So hopefully the Buckeyes can reload. I trust Urban. I think he will. So we typically do our NFL picks of the week. As you know, there's only one NFL game left, Super Bowl 50, versus the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. However, we have a pretty fun thing that we're going to do. We thought about doing some Super Bowl prop bets. Now, these are going to be off-the-wall bets that we're going to go around and do, and if it is a success, maybe we'll do it with other stuff, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. Are you guys ready for some Super Bowl prop bets?
Let's do it.
All right. Number 1, how many times will Jim Nantz, the announcer, say the term friends? Now, those of you who don't know, Jim Nantz's opening line is "Hello, friends." So you already know he's going to say it 1. We got the line set at 1.5 E. Are you taking the over or the under on how many times Jim Nantz will say the term friends?
I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a fantastic Super Bowl. We've got 2 great teams going up against each other. And I think Jim Nantz will at least one more time say, "Friends, what a game we have. What a game we have here going." So I'm taking the over on 1.5.
I like it. Zach, what about you, sir?
I'm taking the over as well. I think he's going to at least say it 2 times, at least.
I completely agree with you guys. Jim Nantz loves to use the term friends. We're already given 1. No way he doesn't say it a second time. So I will take the over on this one as well. Second prop bet we have, how many times will Archie Manning be shown on TV during the broadcast? Ian, we have the over-under on this one set at 3.5 times. Are you taking the over or the under?
That's a tough one. That's a really good line, Jared. You should probably be working for Vegas. I'm going to take the under on that, and not by much. I'm going to say 3 times.
Zach, what about you, sir?
I'm going to take the over, reason being because it's a possibility that it's Peyton's last game, especially if they're winning in the fourth quarter and he's about to kneel at home. They're going to show him. They're going to show the family a few times. I'm taking the over.
I'm taking the over as well, just for the fact that it could be Peyton's last rodeo, and Eli's going to be in that box. They're going to show Eli too, so we're going to see Archie in that shot 3.5 times. I think at least 4. I think we'll at least see it 4. So I'm going to take the over on that line. The next prop bet we have: how many times will Cam Newton do the Superman chest symbol during the game? We got the over/under set at 5.5 times. Ian, are you taking the over or the under, sir?
I'm taking the over. Cam loves doing the Superman. It used to be for touchdowns. It still is for touchdowns. First downs. Anytime he gets excited, if he ties the shoe in record time, he's going to pop up. He's going to do the Superman. So I am definitely taking the over on that.
Zach?
I'm going to take the over as well. He does it in the first downs and the scores and everything else. Be over 5.5.
He's guaranteed going to do it when he runs out. He's guaranteed when he stops, and whenever he runs out or comes to the front of the tunnel, he's going to do that and take off running. So you're giving one. They're a high-scoring offense. He's going to score a lot. Anytime he gets in the end zone, he does that, as well as the dab, which we'll get to in a minute. I'm going to take the over in this one. It's a sneaky line because 6 times is a lot in a game for that, but I'm going to take the over on that one. Next up, we have how many times will we see a player for either team, not just the Panthers and Broncos combined, how many times will we see a player for either team dab? The line is set at 6.5 times. Ian, are you taking the over or the under, sir?
Killing me with these, man. Another good line. I say Cam gets in the end zone a few times. We talked before the show. I think maybe a couple Broncos get to him, rough him up by sacking him. You know they're going to throw the dab at him. What'd you say, 6.5?
6.5.
I'm going to take the over, but not by much.
Zach, what about you, sir?
I think this is a really good line. It's really going to be tough. I'm taking the over. I think Peyton Manning is what could be his last touchdown. He's going to give us a little dab on the way out the door.
A Peyton dab to seal it. That's big money. That'd be big money in Vegas if you parlayed that on there. 6.5. That's a hell of a line. I think I'm going to take the over. I think we're going to see double-digit dabs because it's from either team. You're going to see it on the sideline. Now, it can only be players. It can't be coaches or anything like that. But I actually think it's going to be – I think the Panthers are going to get in the end zone a few times. So we're going to see a few dabs. Like Ian said, we were talking before, and I think Von Miller is going to at least get to Cam once, and he's going to dab on him. I'm going to take the over on this one. That's a tough line, though. I'm going to take the over, though. Next up, we have how many times will John Fox get brought up by the announcers? For those of you who don't know, John Fox was the coach of the Panthers and the Denver Broncos. So how many times will the announcers bring up the fact that John Fox coached both teams? We have the line set at 2.5 times. Ian, are you taking the over or the under?
That's another good one. Sims is kind of a bumbling idiot, so he might bring it up a few times. I think Nance will say it both times, and I don't think he's going to want to rub John Fox's face into the mud too much. Hopefully Sims just agrees with him and Sims doesn't bring it up again. I'm going to go with the under. I'm going to go 2 times.
Zach?
I agree. I think it'll be a couple times. once early in the game when they're talking about it, and then maybe late in the game they'll mention it again.
See, again, I agree with you guys. I'm going to take the under on this one. I cannot see them saying that 3 times. That's so repetitive. I don't know if 3 times, I don't know. It's going to happen once, definitely. Probably 2. I'm going to say the under. I'm going to take the under on that one. Next up, we have how many calls will Mike Carey, former official Mike Carey, how many calls will Mike Carey get wrong when there is a challenge and they go to him in the booth? He is notorious for that. We got the line set at 3.5 times, Ian. Are you taking the over or the under, sir?
Over. That's all I'm saying. Over. He's awful.
That simple. Zach, are you taking the over or the under?
Though he's terrible, I'm going to take the under on 3.5 times. Being wrong 4 times in game, that's just miserable. It just can't happen.
I agree with Zach. I don't think it'll be 4 times, but I wouldn't be surprised. Mike Carey is pretty terrible. I'm going to take the under in that one. I think it's 3, though. I think he's 3, and he may get a half of one wrong. You never know. We may have a push. This could be the first push. Super Bowl prop bet. I'm going to take the under, though. Next prop bet we have. How many times will the announcers mention that Gary Kubiak, head coach of the Broncos, was John Elway's backup when he played in the NFL? We got the line set at 1.5 times. Ian, are you taking the over or the under?
I'll take the under. They'll mention it 1 time, and that'll be it.
Zach.
I'm taking the over on that. I think it will be 2 times that they'll say that. They may mention it early in the game, like I said earlier, and then they'll say it late in the game when, especially if they're winning. I think they'll say it twice if they're winning.
See, that's the key. Do you think the Broncos are going to win this game? Because if the Broncos win this game, they're going to bring it up more. They're going to bring it up once. But if the Broncos are winning this game or win this game, they're going to bring it up twice. However, without telling you who I'm taking, I'm going to take the under because I can't see them getting into it twice if the Broncos are losing. So I'm going to take the under in this one. That's a tough line, though. That's a real good one. Next one up, we have how many times will they show Steph Curry, who's a notorious Carolina Panthers fan, how many times will they show Steph Curry in the crowd during the game? Because he's going to be there. He's already said that. We get the line set at 2.5 times. Ian, are you taking the over or the under?
2.5 times. I'd say he's probably going to be up there in I'd say he'll probably be up there in one of those booths next to the Mannings. Or no, I'm sorry, Carolina. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, because really, who else does Carolina have to show in those booths? Those VIP sections, besides Kevin Green, maybe. I'll go ahead and take the over on that. They'll show more than 2.5 times.
Zach, what about you?
This is another one of those picks where they'll show more times if they're winning the game throughout the game. I think I'm going to take the over on that too. Like Ian said, there's not the Manning sitting over there with them or anything like that for the Panthers at least. So
this is a tricky one though. Is Steph in the booth or is he on the sideline? Because if he's on the sideline, you're gonna see a dab from Steph. If he's in the booth and he has Riley Curry with him, the camera's gonna be all over her because the cameras eat Riley Curry up. They love her. The audiences love her. She's great, cutest little girl ever. So if Riley's there, we're gonna see Steph more. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say they show, and Steph's hot right now, so I'm going to take the over. I think you at least see Steph 3 times in the crowd. Hopefully he is with Little Miss Riley Curry because that wins me that prop bet. Next up, we have how many times will the Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz be shown combined? We have the line set at 6.5 times. Ian, are you taking the over or the under?
Over every time they come back from commercial break. Every time they come back from commercial break, it'll be one of the 2.
Okay. Zach, what about you?
I'm taking the over too for the same reason.
Man, that's a tough line. I can see 3 times with the Golden Gate Bridge. I can see like 2 times with Alcatraz. There's other things in San Francisco they can show. They're going to show the new site where the LA Rams are going to be built, where their stadium's going to be. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under in this one. This is sneaky. That's sneaky a lot of times. There's a lot of things in San Francisco they can show. Whatever that one road is that goes downhill and it's like curvy like that, they're going to show that. Probably the Full House. I'm going to take the under in this one. This is a tough line. I was really good at setting these lines. I'm going to take the under in this one. Last but not least, we have how many times will Phil Simms, the announcer, mention the band Coldplay? Now, they are performing the halftime show, but how many times will Phil Simms mention Coldplay? It's only Phil, not Jim Nantz. We have the line set at 1.5 times. Ian, are you taking the over or the under?
I'm going to take the over. They're going to bring it up at least once early in the game, and then as they get closer to halftime, Simms is going to say something like, "Oh yeah, big Coldplay fan. Love Gwyneth Paltrow."
Will he mention Gwyneth Paltrow? That was one I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's one. I was going to set it at one because I don't even think Phil Simms knows who Gwyneth Paltrow is. He's so out of touch with reality. I don't think he knows who that is. So you're taking the over?
I'm going to take the over. He'll mention it at least twice. Probably twice. Only 2 times.
All right, Zach, what about you?
I'm going to take the under. I think if anybody's going to mention it, it's going to be Jim Nantz. Phil may mention it at one time, maybe before halftime, maybe early in the game. But I think Jim's going to take over on that part.
I 100% agree with you, Zach. I think Phil Simms is so out of touch with reality. Phil Simms has no idea where he is 24/7. He is so bananas cuckoo. I'm going to take the under on that one. That is a tough line. That was fun. That may become a regular thing because that was pretty awesome. Those are Super Bowl prop bets, things you can't get in Vegas. However, one thing you can get in Vegas, we're going to do the Super Bowl, our pick, and the score of the game to round out the betting. So, Ian, who are you taking to win the Super Bowl, and what is your final score?
I think this is one of the best Super Bowl matches we've had in a long time. You've got 2 offenses that can score. You've got 2 defenses that can stop the other offense. They say defense wins championships. Denver's got the best defense in the league. They've also got one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time, probably top 3 quarterbacks of all time. I think Peyton rides out on the sunset with a Super Bowl win. I'm going 31-24 Denver to win Super Bowl 50.
Woo. All right. Zach, what about you, sir?
I disagree. I think it's going to be the Panthers. I think the Denver offense just hasn't done enough lately. They struggled, especially towards the end of the game against New England, and held on by their shoestrings. I think it's going to be 28-24 Panthers.
Both good picks. Now, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, everyone knows I'm a diehard Bengals fan. But since my Bengals got eliminated, my Vikings got eliminated, my Packers got eliminated, my Cardinals got eliminated, I'm a diehard Panthers fan. I was rooting for the Broncos against Steelers, obviously, because I hate the Steelers. But I'm a diehard Panthers fan. I love Cam Newton, love what he's doing. I love they're making a big deal about him handing out footballs and stuff. I absolutely love it. This is tough for me because I love Peyton Manning. I'm going to take the Panthers in this one. I don't think it's going to be close. I think the Panthers have been primed for this. I think they're the best team in the league, obviously, all year. I think Cam has emerged as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'm going to take the Panthers 28-10 in this one. However, I will be rooting very hard for the Broncos. It's going to be bittersweet. I think this is Peyton's last go-round. And I think Cam is going to get back to the Super Bowl many times because he's that good and this team's very good. So I would like to see Peyton win his last one, but I got to take Cam. I got to take the Panthers in this one. I'm rooting for Luke Kuechly, Cincinnati boy. I'm going to take the Panthers 28-10. I think it's going to be if the Broncos cannot turn the ball over at all. If they turn the ball over once, it's game over. That's my opinion. I think the Panthers' defense is just as good, if not better, than the Broncos. I think they have more weapons on offense. They're going to get to Peyton. I'm going to take the Panthers 28-10 in this one. We're going to see a lot of dabbing. We're going to see a lot of footballs being given out. Yeah, I'm taking Cam. Cam's my MVP. He's going to win MVP of the league. He's the Super Bowl MVP. I think he's going to get the Panthers their first Super Bowl. So that's my pick. Now, I say that I'm rooting for the Broncos, though, just so everyone knows. I'll be happy when the Panthers win because I know I was right. But I am rooting for the Broncos. I want Peyton to get his last ring. Here's another prop bet. Final one. If the Broncos win, what are the odds? How fast? Seconds. Okay, we're going to go over under 5 seconds. John Elway retires Peyton Manning on the field when he hands him the trophy. If I'm John Elway, I'd be like, "Hey, Peyton Manning, thank you so much. We look forward. We'll see you in Canton." I wouldn't even let him decide. I would just retire him right there in front of everybody. I'm gonna say under 5 seconds. That was a stupid prop bet, but anyways, I'm taking the Panthers. I'm taking the Panthers 28-10. Cam Newton MVP. I think he's going to dominate. That kind of ties into my bold prediction, but as some of you may know, you may not. We end our show with a bold prediction for this upcoming week of sports. Ian, what's your bold prediction, sir?
My bold prediction is after the Denver Broncos win the Super Bowl on Sunday and Peyton Manning is in the locker room at the end of the game, chowing down on that free Papa John's pizza, he's going to come to the conclusion that why not go on top with a Super Bowl ring? Peyton calls it quits. Peyton's going to go out, his final game, he's going to be a Super Bowl champion.
That would be nice. I don't think it happens, but that would be awesome. I'm rooting for it. Zach, what about you, sir?
My bold prediction comes from the Super Bowl halftime. I think the left shark from last year's Super Bowl halftime comes back out. He may dance a little bit with Beyonce. I think the NFL's great at marketing and stuff like that. I think he'll come back out.
It would be awesome if Jim Ross announced the halftime show, and when the left shark comes running out, glass shatters, and Jim Ross yells out, "Wait a minute, I think that's the left shark's music." That would be awesome. And then the left shark runs out, and then Stone Cold Stunners Chris Martin, and then walks off the field. That would be great. Best Super Bowl ever. My bold prediction is, at the end of the game, Cam Newton's going to show up on the IR, and the reason he's going to show up on the IR is because he's going to be dabbing too much, and he's going to break his arm or shoulder from dabbing too much. That's my bold prediction. I think Cam is going to run all over the Broncos. I don't think it's going to be close, guys. Hopefully it is. I'd like to see Peyton go out with the championship. But that's the show, episode 17 of Ohio Sports Radio. Not much to talk about this week. Kind of a dead period, but fun regardless. So thank you to everyone who continues to ask questions. I know we didn't have that many questions this week. We had a couple. One question that I will point out, Ken Rice, my future father-in-law, wants to know what our predictions of the Super Bowl was, or our predictions for the Super Bowl. Ken, take my advice. Put all the money, put your house on the Panthers because they're going to win it, and you'll be a very rich man. But, yeah, that's our show, episode 17 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show. Thank you to everyone who continues to ask questions, comment, just interact with us. Thank you to everyone who continues to do that. Follow us on Twitter, @Ohio Sports Radio. Check out our website, ohsportsradio.com. We got lots of great articles going on there. Zach posted his first blog today. It's awesome. For those Buckeye fans out there, make sure you check it out. It's basically he's letting you know where all the Buckeyes who are going to the draft, where he thinks they will end up. It was very good, Zach, so good job, sir. What's that?
They will go there. It's definite.
Where they will go. So we'll come back to that actually during draft day and see how many you get right. That would be pretty fun. But yeah, check out our stuff. We love doing this. We have fun. We are looking for new writers. So if you have an interest of joining Ohio Sports Radio, writing about your favorite teams, joining us on this show, we are looking for new writers. Contact one of us on Facebook. We would love to read some of your sample work and see if you'd be a good fit for us. But Check out our website, ohsportsradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, @OhioSportsRadio. Like us on Facebook, Ohio Sports Radio on Facebook. Comment, interact with us, guys. We love it. We love you all. You guys make us what we are. We have fun doing this. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, because that's what it's really all about. We want to know what you guys think. If you don't like it, give us a thumbs down. Let us know what we can do better. Ian, Zach, do you guys have anything to add? E, you got anything to add, man?
To resonate what Jared said, give us a follow on Facebook, on Twitter. We've got a poll up right now on Twitter. Who's going to win Super Bowl 50? Get on there, vote. Let's get some more votes in on there. We want to hear from you guys. Comment on our stuff. Send us stuff on Facebook. It's all about you guys. You guys are the reasons we do this. We love interacting with you. We love talking sports. It's a dream to be able to come out and do this for you guys every week and talk about sports and know that people are following us and knowing that people are listening. We write about the teams that make us drink. We can all relate to that. So let's hear more from you guys. We love interacting with you. Just keep it coming.
Zach?
I appreciate y'all for watching, and like they said, interact with us as much as possible. Let us know what you think. Appreciate y'all for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Zach's fit in perfectly. I mean, when me and he started this, like we said over and over, we were just two guys like to talk sports, and it was just for fun, and it's growing very rapidly for us, and we couldn't be more thankful. And it's because of you guys. You guys are awesome, and we appreciate it each and every week. We love doing this, like I said. So, like he said, follow us on Facebook, or like us on Facebook, Ohio Sports Radio. Follow us on Twitter, @Ohio Sports Radio on Twitter. Tweet at us, whatever. Interact with us, guys. Check out our website, ohsportsradio.com. If you are interested in joining the Ohio Sports Radio team, please let one of us know. We would love to check out some of your stuff. Guys, thank you so much. We will see you next week for episode 18 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show. Ian, Zach, Hude, and keep pounding. Go Panthers. See you guys next week.